Hello. Yes, we are back to say goodbye for another Indie Author Fringe. It is over. 24 hours of author education, all about the topic of book promotion and book marketing, essentially how to reach your readers in all sorts of varieties of ways. There really is a way for everybody, and nobody's way is exactly alike. All indies are different. So David and Jay are here. We're going to wrap up the conference, really talk a little bit about some of the highlights, but mainly announce the winner of our book cover competition. And yeah, so David, you really are at the forefront of the book competition all the time because you see each entry as it comes in. So do you want to kind of talk to us a little bit about the whole process this year?
Yeah. So they all come in, and as you say, every single one goes past my eyes, and sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes it's not quite such a good thing.
We get little messages from David about covers.
Yeah. There's one I don't repeat, but it is, and there's some book covers we actually have this time we've had to remove from the competition for being slightly risque and some of the language they used, which is, I think, the first time we've ever had that. But it was good fun while it lasted, and yeah, it was very interesting.
And we got some fantastic covers this year, I thought.
We did. I thought the standard this year generally was far better than it ever has been before. I think indies are learning. I think they're learning what makes a good cover, but I think they're also learning how to use the resources that are out there to get people to do the covers for them. You know, so. But some of the lessons that I've drawn from doing this is what actually makes the covers good is one of them is simplicity. Don't try to tell the story on the cover of your book. You might have a great scene in mind you want to show, but for goodness sake, don't do it. The cover presents the feel of your book and not the story. So it has to be simple and really demonstrate that. Know your genre and what the genre expectations are for your cover. And a good one is to know what works and doesn't in particular. And some of the covers that have come up have shown this. Some color combinations just don't work. For example, black and red fail to show up well together, as do yellow and green. And people need to take a good, hard, honest look at their covers and to see exactly what they're going to look like on the display, on the sales channels that you're going to send them out to.
Fantastic. And just to say that the kind of modus operandi we had in terms of choosing the winner was that David picked out a shortlist of covers that he felt were outstanding, and then I did the same, but separately. And then we looked and saw was there any overlap, and indeed there was. And then we kind of went for our favorites among those, and we had, I think, clear agreement as to our winners.
I think we did, yeah. I think the ones that have won really are the best ones we've had. Well, obviously they are the best ones they've had. Otherwise, we wouldn't have made them the winners.
And for me, it was a combination of that kind of genre appropriate and visually attractive, and something that just pops and has that little bit, you know, it's very subjective, a book cover, and two other judges could look at this. And I mean, there were so many covers there I would have loved to win. And we only have two, one fiction, one non-fiction. So, you know, there are lots and lots of great covers there. But do you want to tell us?
Let me see if I can share my screen. And application window, here we go. Share now. Now, hopefully you can see the winner of the fiction competition. If you can't, I apologize, but this should now be coming across. And this is the one that's won it, by Zoe Sadler, and it's Lighthouse Keeper, A Cautionary Tale. And I was very interested to see that, as well as being the author of the book, Zoe Sadler also made this cover herself.
Oh, wow.
That's what they claimed, which is absolutely amazing. That is just such a professional cover.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I just
really
loved. I love this cover, and I felt that the only thing I would change on it, I would like to have seen Zoe's name a little bit bigger, and this is something I wanted to highlight about indie authors generally. You know, your author name is important. People do want to know who wrote a book, and particularly if you're the kind of author that you are the brand, as opposed to, you know, you write every book in a series the same kind of, people are kind of, your character may be the brand, but if you write a number of different types of books, then you must become the brand, and so you have to familiarize people with your name. But aside from that, I thought it was absolutely splendid.
Yeah,
and we have
a non-fiction cover, which is Top 50 Kate's Thermal Cookbook. And like you said before, this one really zings. It stands out. The color combinations are good. And it's the sort of thing you would go into Smith's or Waterstones and you'd see on the shelves and you'd buy straight away if you wanted something about cooking. It is really good.
Absolutely. But again, author name a little bit small, I think. If you look at Jamie Oliver.
This is what I was saying about the color combinations. That very light green on the side, kind of white, yellowish background there, tends to disappear a little bit into the background.
But a very beautiful and very effective cover nonetheless. So congratulations to our winners. This competition has been sponsored by selfpubcovers.com, and they are giving a professional book cover design now to our two winners, and hopefully Zoe will want that perhaps as a designer herself. She may not, we shall see, but I'm sure we'll find something else lovely we can give her instead if not. So Jay will be in touch soon. And speaking about Jay, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Up bright and early this morning in California.
Yes. What time is it there?
Just after 7 o'clock.
This woman's devotion to duty knows no bounds. So you had a good Fringe?
Yes, it was. It was really good. And the one that I was most looking forward to was Chris Wells about putting a media kit together. And, you know, when you have those sessions that you're like, oh my God, I've got to write this down. I've got to write this down. It was so one thing after another. And what I really liked is that he covered nonfiction and fiction and gave examples for both, and how to put your author bios together and how to put a really good media kit together so that it's there and waiting on your website. So when media or anyone's looking for quotes or background for a story, it's there, and they actually don't even have to bother you because they can self-serve. And if you don't have a media kit up there, they're just going to go straight past you and look for a next author. So that really hit home to me. And once the Fringe is finished, that's it. I'm working on my media kit.
Yay, hey, that's what we love. Fringe inspires action.
Yes.
And you've spent the last number of weeks looking after our sponsors. So yeah, I mean, they too produced some very interesting material this time.
Yes, actually, our gold sponsor, Ingram Spark, I've just gone into my first foray of setting up my first print-on-demand book through Ingram Spark, actually using their promo code, because they're waiving all setup costs on new titles between June 1st and July 31st. So I was on their website yesterday trying to set up my first POD book. And one of the questions I had was around the pricing and the discount, which I really didn't understand. And their sponsored session for the Fringe this time around was around how to price your book. And they explained in simple terms about the discount and how it worked and why 30% is the minimum that you should go down to. And so that was a really useful session for me as well.
Great. Any highlights for you, David?
Probably the ones that I talked about in the intro. You know, there's some great stuff. I like the Shoshana Gabriel one, which was just before this session, where she was talking about book covers. I have this thing. I'm not a graphic designer, but I just have this thing about book covers. I just like to take them apart and deconstruct them and see how they work and how they don't work. So I enjoyed that one. But I mean, it's really difficult to pick individual things out. I rather liked Debbie Young's and Dan Holloway's audio reading of alternative literature festivals. I thought that was brilliant. It was great.
Yeah, that's part of our Open Up to Indie Authors campaign. So Debbie and Dan are the people who wrote the Opening Up to Indie Authors book, and they, for the purposes of the Fringe, they're giving us a sneak peek. We have been redoing that book and just bringing it up to date, and also relaunching the campaign a little bit, because kind of 3 years on, we're trying to take this out into the trade publishing world. It's not so much the publishing industry that we're addressing here as the, what you might call, the reader industry, places where book people and readers congregate. So libraries, bookstores, literary festivals, and so on. And of course, Debbie runs the Hawkesbury Upton Literary Festival, which is completely charming and brilliant, and gathers together all of Southwest England, and people come from miles around to attend. I was there myself this year. I know you've been there before. Jay has yet to come, but we'll get her there soon.
Next year.
And it's an incredible achievement because it's such a different model. So, traditionally the literary festival is about celebrity authors. This is about grassroots writers and readers coming together and enjoying each other's company and doing readings, and she did all sorts of fantastic things. So she has, for other people who would like to take up that model and run with it, Debbie's given some really great instructions about how people might do that, and how not to be daunted by it, how to start very small and see, does it take off, or keep it small if that's what you want to do. So being indie, it isn't just about how you put the book together, but also how you reach out.
Yeah. Oh, and I was going to say, my favorite element of this entire conference this time is we didn't have a disaster. Nothing went wrong.
We're getting good. Practice makes perfect, the indie way. You start off, you don't really know what you're doing, and you do your best, you muddle through, you get a bit overwhelmed, you make mistakes, you do better next time. So yeah, that's, I think, our model for Fringe as well. Certainly we all are not as tired as we were this time last year. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so yeah. Over to Joe.
Oh yeah, can I just give a shout out to the rest of the sponsors, because without them Fringe wouldn't be possible. We aim to keep this free for everybody. We want to make it globally accessible for all indie authors around the world, which is why we run it for 24 hours. So everybody in every territory has got some sessions that they can watch live. And then all of these sessions are going to stay on the blog. So any that you've missed while you were sleeping, you can go over to the blog and watch those sessions and catch up on any ones that you missed. Most of the sessions have got giveaways on them, so the speakers have donated giveaways, and you can enter their giveaways at the bottom of each of the pages. So those giveaways are going to be open until midnight tomorrow, and then we'll be closing those and announcing the winners. And if you're a giveaway winner, we'll send you an email. So that's the giveaways. And then the sponsors, I talked about our gold sponsor, Ingram Spark. They've been with us for a couple of years now, and their support's been brilliant, and they're offering the 2 wave setup costs on new titles until July 31st. So BookBaby is our silver sponsor. I wanted to thank them as well. They are offering 15% off professional editing and line editing until June the 30th. So we know how important that is for indie authors. So if you're at that stage in your book, then that's a good chance to reach out to BookBaby. And then our bronze sponsor this time around was I Am Self-Publishing. So if you saw ALLi's session, he was talking to you about his new track system. So they have a giveaway that they're offering, that you can get free materials which kind of supported their session. And they're also offering for the first 100 authors an online marketing course for a reduced cost. So you can be one of the first 100 authors to enter that. And then we had some good session sponsors this time around. If you're thinking of doing an audiobook, Listen Up Indie Pub, you'll receive $100 off your per finished hour for each audiobook. And they're running that session through the end of the year. So you have a good opportunity of taking your books and turning them into audiobooks through Listen Up. We've also got Nielsen, one of their sessions. You would have seen Ralph and Karen, and I'm Beth, yes. They did a good session around what is Book to Look and how you use it. And there was Karen, who's a children's author, and how she uses it. So they are, Nielsen are obviously well known to everyone in England. They're offering a discount on 5 Book to Look widgets. And then Beth works for Author Connections, which is the US agent for Book to Look. So you can also, if you're in the US, you can redeem promo code there for Book to Look widgets through her. And then finally, as Orna said, our cover competition was sponsored by Self-Pub Book Covers, so thank you very much for them. Both of our winners can win a book cover from them, and also they are doing a giveaway on their session. That's Shoshana, the session before this, and you can enter to win a book cover of your choice as well. So thank you so much to all of our sponsors for providing all of those deals and discounts. There below this video in this session, you'll see all of the promo images with the details of how to enter and the promo codes you need to use. So don't miss an opportunity of saving some money.
Fantastic, Jay, and thank you for doing all the setup around that and making it all so easy to enter and to see what's where and everything. It's a Trojan job. And David too, thank you so much for all the hard work, getting all the sessions together and doing the book covers and countless other things. Amazing. And thank you to our speakers, of course, without whom we wouldn't have a conference. And they all give their time completely free of charge, and they give these generous giveaways, and you know, they see themselves very much as giving back to the indie author community by doing this. So do support them by buying their books and their products if you are in need of what they do. And thank you to you, all of you, for watching and for being part of the indie author community and helping us to take this great movement and grow it and bring it out there to readers all over the world. So that's it from us for another Indie Author Fringe. We're all off to rest and relax now. And well, Jay has some...
I've got my media kit to do.
And our giveaways to organise, but yes. But yeah, hopefully
tomorrow I start the next book.
And tomorrow you see the authors. We're mad, we're driven, we're crazy.
All of us, I'm surprised we got through the conference because all of us are Vellum users and we've all got the print on demand functionality now. And it's super simple. I'm aching to get in there and fiddle around.
It's brilliant. I've been testing and thing, but yeah, looking forward to getting at it. So wherever you are in your writing journey and your publishing journey and setting up your indie author career, I hope that we are helping you along the way. And we will see you next time in October for Indie Author Fringe Frankfurt Book Fair, mid-October, and we'll be focusing then on running an indie author business. So how you can make a living with your writing, or perhaps even more than that. Until then, thank you and goodbye from us.
Thank you very much. Bye.